Welcome to the Office of Career Services, OCS, Recruiting Program online tutorial. This tutorial will cover the recruiting program, the job and internship search process, as well as OCS resources to help you be successful. OCS offers a large suite of services to help you at any stage of your job, internship, or career search. While this tutorial focuses on the job and internship search and recruiting program, we can also help you with graduate and professional school applications, undecided advising, and more. OCS is here to help you remotely. You can schedule an appointment in Crimson Careers to speak with an advisor via Zoom or phone. OCS will also be hosting daily drop-in hours remotely from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday through Friday. Access appointment and drop-in sign-up information from the Harvard College Advising section of the OCS website. OCS has restructured the campus interview program to be entirely virtual for fall 2020 and renamed it the OCS Recruiting Program. The program will still provide a structure for virtual networking events, application deadlines, and for some employers' interview process. About 2/3 of the employers confirmed for the fall will schedule interviews in Crimson Careers. The rest will use their own scheduling tools. As much as the recruiting program tries to provide a structured process, there have been many updates to recruiting, especially in a virtual environment. We are working with employers to incorporate their new processes. Employers actively recruiting Harvard candidates this fall and working with OCS to promote their events and application deadlines may still choose to be promoted through the recruiting program, even if they might schedule interviews outside of Crimson Careers, for example. Most organizations do just-in-time hiring when opportunities become available. Employers that participate in the recruiting program are able to predict their hiring needs further in advance. They often have a pyramid structure and might bring in a class of new hires each year. These are just a few examples of the organizations represented in the fall program. The main industries that are part of the program are consulting, finance, tech, and other sectors with business opportunities like consumer goods. Opportunities are added on a rolling basis to Crimson Careers and emailed out prior to the application deadline. Note there are many employers that are interested in Harvard talent but do not recruit in such a formal way. The recruiting program should just be one part of your job or internship search. The recruiting program is not the easy way to find a job or internship. It's not just hitting apply. Just like any search, we recommend making connections. An advantage to the recruiting program is that several employers schedule events to get to know and prepare candidates. Find virtual events in Crimson Careers and on the OCS employer calendar, which is shown on this slide and is separate from the OCS programs and workshops calendar. You can also view virtual employer sessions under the Information Sessions section of the Events tab in Crimson Careers. Note that events are added on a rolling basis. Application deadlines for recruiting program opportunities are consolidated on specific days and managed through Crimson Careers. For example, the first program application deadlines are Monday, September 8th and Thursday, September 10th. Application deadlines continue through October on Wednesdays at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Apply to opportunities individually. While these dates and details hold for the most part, there are some exceptions. For an example, an employer may have a firm-wide application deadline or choose to extend their application deadline. First round interviews are generally scheduled September 14th through about October 29th and will be mostly scheduled in Crimson Careers. Some employers will schedule interviews outside of Crimson Careers. Employers have indicated they will work with students on different time zones to accommodate interviews. A few employers have communicated that they are unsure of plans or in a hiring freeze and may hire in the spring semester instead of the fall. However, the bulk of employers in the recruiting program are moving forward with the fall timeline. You can access Crimson Careers from the OCS website. Your username is your Harvard email address and your password is your 8-digit Harvard ID number unless you've changed it. You can run an advanced search for position type, recruiting program jobs, or internships to filter for program positions. Opportunities are added on a rolling basis. There are several employers that have confirmed for the fall but do not have finalized job or internship descriptions. Use the Documents tab on the left side navigation bar of Crimson Careers to upload resumes, cover letters, your transcript, and other application materials so that you can preview the documents and ensure that the formatting is correct. Use the Interviews tab of Crimson Careers to manage your recruiting program applications and scheduled interviews. OCS recruiting program postings have a list of dates on the right-hand side, which also differentiates them from other job postings. The Apply button, as well as the application deadline and other dates, are visible on positions as soon as they are posted. Most employers are planning interviews on the date listed at the top right. The location field gives you a clue as to how the employer will be managing interviews. Employers with the location employer will provide a virtual meeting link, or OCS will provide a virtual meeting link, will schedule interviews through Crimson Careers. Other dates on the right-hand side, like sign-up start date, will apply for these employers. The sign-up start date is usually the date by which employers notify candidates if they are invited or selected as an alternate to interview. Employers with the location promoted employer deadline will be scheduling interviews outside of Crimson Careers. Again, most of these employers are planning interviews on or around the interview date listed. However, the interview sign-up dates will not apply for these employers. Check the position description and notes in the apply box for application requirements. Most employers ask that students apply on their website in addition to Crimson Careers. Manage your recruiting program applications from the Interviews tab in Crimson Careers, which is shown on the screen. You can withdraw an application and reapply with updated documents from the Applications section as long as it is prior to the application deadline. For employers managing interviews through Crimson Careers, if you are invited or selected as an alternate to interview, you'll be able to select the three little dots icon to schedule your interview on the relevant sign-up start date. You can always click back on the position title to see the list of dates on the right-hand side of the position description. Invited students are able to sign up on the sign-up start date. Alternates are able to schedule any remaining interviews beginning on the alternate sign-up start date. Alternates are not guaranteed interviews, but often slots are available for alternates or might become available closer to the cancellation's end date. Once you schedule an interview, you can reschedule or cancel from the scheduled interviews section until the cancellation's end date. The interview room, which is circled, will have the meeting link for your interview. Throughout the recruiting process, clear and timely communication is very important. Interactions with employers, while some may be more casual than others, should always be professional and demonstrate that you are ready for employment and the responsibilities that go with it. We still anticipate recruiters will use the phone to communicate with candidates. Check your voicemail message to make sure it's appropriate, set up, and not full. Use email signature for communications with employers. Make sure your emails are businesslike and check grammar, spelling, and format so there is no evidence of cut and paste. Employers may extend offers by phone or email. While you do not need to decide right away, it is important to acknowledge the offer and say thank you right away. Set up or update your LinkedIn profile for a professional online presence. Anticipate being on video for virtual career fairs and networking events. Plan to dress business casual for events, as presentation helps you get into the right mindset. Plan to attend all events that you RSVP for and contact an employer with 1 or 2 business days notice if you can no longer attend, especially for small chat sessions. Know what technology is being used for virtual interviews and make sure you have the necessary software. Don't wait to the last minute. Make sure you arrive on time, which means about 3 to 5 minutes early for interviews, assuming you are comfortable with the technology. For interviews, you may cancel prior to the cancellation's end date listed in Crimson Careers. If an employer is scheduling interviews outside Crimson Careers, plan to provide 1 or 2 business days notice if you need to cancel. Employers are asked to give students 1 or more options for second-round interviews. If you have a conflict between a second and first-round interview, try to reschedule the second-round interview. OCS offers a number of resources to help students be successful in the recruiting process or any job or internship search. The networked approach is the most effective way of finding summer and postgraduate experiences. We recommend that students take initiative and be proactive. Be resilient and adaptable if your first plan doesn't work. Make professional connections that will help you land a summer internship, first job, and other opportunities later on. Connect online through LinkedIn, the Harvard Alumni Association directory, and OCS Firsthand Advisors. OCS Firsthand Advisors lets you search for alumni in the database and request a career chat, resume review, or mock interview. OCS will also be hosting several of our career fairs this fall through the Firsthand Advisors platform. Students will have the opportunity to connect in individual video chats and group sessions. OCS career fairs and industry expos each year connect students with hundreds of employers in a variety of interest areas. Our career fair lineup is scheduled to reflect employer hiring periods. For example, several nonprofits and startups that use just-in-time hiring will be included in events in the spring semester. When searching for opportunities, make sure to also look at non-recruiting program roles. Typically, 96% of postings in Crimson Careers are not part of the recruiting program. Set up a saved search in Crimson Careers to stay updated on roles that match your interest areas. InterStride is a resource designed to help international students with their search and also includes listings for roles globally as well as in the US. InterStride includes a tool for looking up US companies that have sponsored H-1B visas in the past. InterStride is also helpful for anyone looking for international opportunities with resources by country and insights into hiring and postings in that country. OCS has many resources to help students prepare application materials. Our resume template, available on the OCS website, is a great place to start. Employers have indicated that the format of your resume should not be a distraction. Use the template or a similar clean format so the content of your resume can be easily accessed. We recommend having your resume reviewed before you begin submitting it. OCS drop-ins are great opportunities for resume and cover letter reviews. In previous years, students on leave were not eligible for campus interviews given the campus requirement. Since we are transitioning the OCS recruiting program to be virtual for fall 2020, all students on leave may participate. All students on leave must use the OCS resume template for students on leave, which clearly indicates the student's enrollment status and expected date of graduation. This is a requirement. Students who fail to use the on-leave template and do not truthfully disclose leave status and date of expected graduation to prospective employers will be removed from the program, lose OCS privileges, and will be referred to the Honor Council. Graduation date is very important to recruiting program employers and should be represented accurately. If you apply to an employer and your graduation date changes, you should update the employer as soon as possible. OCS also offers many resources to help students prepare for interviews. Access online tools that OCS has licensed free of charge from the OCS website, such as Vault, which has guides and interview tips by sector, Interview Stream, which allows you to practice an interview anytime using a webcam, OCS Firsthand Advisors, which makes it easy to connect with an alum for a career chat, resume review, or mock interview, and Case Questions Interactive, Mark Cosentino's case interview preparation site for the consulting case interview. When you get an offer, the first thing you need to do is say thank you. Ask for details in writing so you may review. Plan to stay in active communication with the employer and accept or decline in a timely manner. In a tough economy, we recommend accepting offers you're excited about as soon as possible. On the screen are the offer decision timelines we set for this year. We set these dates in fall 2019 in advance of the spring presentations on campus. We are in a different world than when we set these dates, and employers have told us that there is too much economic uncertainty to extend long decision timelines. In response to this, we have updated our policies to guidelines. What we mean by this is that we recommend these as deadlines, but we acknowledge that these dates are not enforceable. Some employers will use our guidelines to set their decision deadlines. Others will ask for something like a 2-week decision deadline. Even in previous years, when policies were more enforceable, it was never the case that a student should say to their employer that they are required to give them until October 8th. Our advice was always to inform the recruiter about the Harvard decision deadline and ask if it might be applied to you as a Harvard candidate. Some students may not need more time to decide or may want to negotiate another part of the offer. Review Managing Offers resources on the OCS website or schedule an advising appointment to discuss your offer. To complete registration for the recruiting program, you must take and pass the online quiz. Find the quiz at the link on the screen or on the OCS recruiting program website. Note that it will take approximately 1 business day to activate your recruiting program access in Crimson Careers.